G'day, listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, supshq.com.au. Use BWB15 at checkout to receive 15% off and direct shipping. G'day, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite banter bullshit podcasts. We are starting off the month of February with another fantastic episode on the channel. Welcome to my boy Scaff.
Didn't even realize.
Nice little golf outfit on. He's just had a good swing apparently.
I have.
And myself.
Good round. Played. I was there last night. I was looking at the weather. Actually, it fucking rained, Melbourne. But anyway, it wasn't meant to rain. And I was like, oh, I've got a pretty good day today. Like, I'll get up early. I'll go train first, have a quick feed, and then go play some golf. Perfect. Played in a group, 3 guys. Handicaps were much higher than mine. They were playing comp. I'm like, fine, I'll jump in. Play Stableford. So Stableford's like they level out the par. Sorry, they level out so that your handicap is kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like we just play on a point system, and it's like, if you're a better player, like with my handicap, for example, you get less shots per hole. So it's like, it might be a par 4. And if you're a 20 handicap, you might get 2 extra shots on that hole for your technical par. And you get points, for par basically. And then you get like points for bogey, points for birdie and all that sort of stuff. And I played with a guy who's off 18, then one off 22 and one off like 26 or 30 or something. So I still beat them. So that's fine.
Not to humbly brag or anything, but I still beat them.
I birdied the last, and they're kind of like, I was just 2 of the holes. There was a par 4, basically gun barrel straight, and I'm like, fuck it. I said to them, I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna swing hard, so just keep an eye out because I don't know where this is going. Middle of fairway, 265 meters. I'm like, yep, that's what we want. Birdied that, and then the last one was a par 5, and I'm like, I'm swinging for the fence. Another 260-meter drive, left me like 210 in, hit a 3-iron to like front of the green. It was like a 20-foot putt, missed. Obviously, I'm not going to hit a 20-foot putt, and then birdied the last, and they're looking at me like, you're fucked. I'm like, I want to say I didn't mean it, but I did. I'll probably never be able to do it again.
Is it a fluke if I intentionally achieved it, though I'll never achieve it again?
Yeah, exactly. I meant it though.
Yeah.
It's one of those days I was just like, yeah, right, things are on. Let's go.
Yeah. Up.
What's been going on besides your unruly back injury and your shit coffee?
So
see, now people are starting to understand.
The great battle of our time.
Like, yeah, people understand my concern when I come up there, and why I'm going to buy you a coffee machine when I come up. I only have to pull it out when I'm there. Actually, you know what? I wonder if I can put one on the plane. I've got like a spare one here. I should just bring it up. Like, I wonder. I should just like look. I should look into it and be like, how can I get? Can I carry this on as like carry on luggage? Because this shit is fucking like, it's a good one. So it's like we got to look after it with respect.
It needs its own seat.
Yeah, 100%. Strap it in and everything, bro.
Well, I mean, for me, my $20 fucking 200 serve tub of Moccona does a treat.
No, it's horrible.
Works a treat, does a job, gives me my caffeine hit. Realistically, just levels out my dopamine and lets me focus for about an hour, and then it goes scatterbrain.
I would genuinely probably rather drink piss.
That's fair.
Like when I think,
actually, my piss is probably caffeinated. That's probably fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like when I think about it, I would probably almost rather drink piss than fucking that shit coffee.
Yeah, but that's why you Italians are broke. I'm living on my cheap, flavorful Moccona.
No, Italians aren't broke, bro. There's always coffee. They might be broke in every other fashion, in every other sense of the word, but not with coffee and not with cigarettes, as always.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And they just sit there doing these ones.
100%. Wondering why they don't have money, but they've got a coffee and cigarette in hand, so life's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like
we can get through fascism. We got coffee and cigarettes.
It's mostly Europe, let's be real. Anyway.
Yeah, no, today did myself a dirty on the on Sunday. Went for I didn't say like I went for a PB as if it was unplanned, but I was progressing quite well. Reps were nice, cadence was nice, depth was fantastic, hip was feeling good, glutes were feeling nice. Was progressing up all of my warm-up sets. Usually I'll just do I do like a couple sets of 10, and then I'll start getting like a couple sets of 4 to 5, feel like the weight, make sure it's feeling good, and then I'll like set my weight target, knowing that I've kind of got an RPE in mind and an RAR I'm trying to hit, which is generally 0, because full send.
Because that's just how we roll in the hood.
Pretty much. And yeah, got to my working set on hacks at 250, which I've never done. So it was probably, like we said, just a little before this went to record. It was probably just my overbearing thought at the time was that the when I just free flow get into my lifts and just generally I'm just in the mood to train, everything's good, and I'm just warmed up and take my time. There's never really concern. It's always when there's like a new checkpoint for me where I'll be like, I'll over fret it and then be like, well, fuck, make sure this is right. Then the fear of loading, then the fear of getting heavier, and then the fear of doing all these different things makes me overthink and complicate the lift, make sure my hips stay here and don't do this and all that sort of shit. Because in the past, those things have happened.
Of course.
So we're obviously anxious about the fact that this reiteration is going to occur.
Mm-hmm.
And then it occurs because I basically just fulfilled that prophecy in my head of just overthinking it, overdoing it, overworking. And now I've created that literal thing that I said I was worried about. So,
and it's like I was saying off camera, it's literally what happened today. I got to like hole 12, hole 13, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going all right here. I haven't lost the ball. What do? Take a swing, lose the ball. I'm like, that'd be fucking all right. The last thing I thought about before I hit the ball, lost the ball. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. I lose one ball for the entire round. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it's just one of those it's one of those annoying cues where it brings it to like forebear in your thought like, oh fuck, this could happen. I haven't thought about it the whole day. Leg day was fine. Did client posing workshops. Everything's going good there. Got clients are all fucking progressing. Everyone's fantastic. Sweet. Going to do my thing. Everything felt good. Everything felt warmed up. Took my time. Did my activations. Did my warm ups. Did my fucking hinges. And then I was just like, bleh. So finished off the rest. This is how common it is. I know it'll probably happen once a season for me, once a phase. So usually it's about this time of year. It's like probably 3 Januaries in a row that I've done something like this. And it'll just be from the back end of another phase the year before, and my progression is just taken off, and I get excited. Obviously my excitatory response to training heavier and just sending it, my intensity is fun. But then in the catch side to that fun is that my progressions go a little bit faster than probably my body can handle.
Yeah, of course. And then you're also in your like aroused state, so everything's just fucking hyper, like
exactly
just hyper, and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. And so the annoying part to me, as we were just saying before, is it's not so much the pain itself, because I've made this dichotomy 100 times, and I make this choice every time I go to the gym. I'm aware that in my prognosis with my spinal disability, that every day that I train is a risk that something can hurt. So it's less annoying about the pain itself. I'm like, oh, fuck it. Like I take that chance. Like every time someone drives a car, they take the chance it could crash. Well, every time that I drive the car. Every time I go to the gym, I know that it could hurt from something that I do, especially as loads start to progress, weight gets heavier, I get stronger, muscles get stronger, connective tissue might get a bit weaker or something like that. It forces me to pay a little bit more attention to my recovery and bio cues, and not just say, well, fuck it, I feel good, go hard. Well, do I actually feel good? So kind of stuff it will make me have to reflect on that for the next 3, 4, 5 months. The annoying part is the little shit that it'll do around it. So my steps go down, getting out of bed becomes hard, like everything becomes painful. The synapse of the pain, I can only describe it as breathtaking. Like it's very odd pain to describe. Like it'll be a sudden jolt, and it'll just be from where you've either trapped the nerve or trapped the inflammation, or I'll move in a position that isolates the nerve and then either traps it or triggers it. And then you just get like a jolt, like an electrical jolt of pain that you'll quickly want to stiffen out of. And from that reaction, just you just lose your breath. And it's very fucking it's very odd, but very becomes really common for say 4 to 5 days where it's just flared up, which is fucking annoying. And then little things like I end up with a degree of almost constipation by the time I go to trying to go to the toilet. It just the stability and back bracing required to bathroom properly is just non-existent. So it just becomes well, I can't do this because it's going to hurt. So then I can't do it. So then I walk around bloated and distended and discomfort, as well as the back pain. I'm like, well, for fuck's sake, you just got to hope that it wants to come out. Yeah. So just that little niggly shit that, goes on for 3, 4, 5 days, and then it'll calm down. I just mobilize again.
Settle, yeah.
Yeah, and then go back to work. It's funny though, after 10 years with this, who was I telling? I was telling Brooklyn the other day. I had a massive argument with my brother one day. This was when me and him used to be at each other's throats. When I was 21, 22, he was 24. And he was like, oh no, I was 24, 25 because I'd settled my court case, settled my finances, settled all the legalities. And he's like, oh, you've won your court case now, you can stop pretending. Oh God. If I could give you this pain for a day to see what that pretending feels like,
Yeah.
oh fuck.
I mean, but fair call.
But fair call, like stop being a bitch.
Yeah, yeah, stop being a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just
And yeah,
harden up, as they say. Be a man.
basically. But I mean, like yesterday, I went in to train and I put up two PBs on my presses, so my incline and my flat dumbbells with control that I've never had before in my pressing. So, working with Rowan on a few different mechanics for me, external rotation with internal rotation at the elbows, external rotation of the shoulders, so that my stabilizer and everything's working properly in my pressing.
Mhm.
Just never felt that strong through my chest and shoulders before under control.
Yeah.
So, like the session, like just fucking hurt. But at
Yeah.
the same time, progressed 3 lifts. So,
Yeah. And that's what we look at, right? And when it comes to injuries and stuff like that, there's always a workaround. There's always a silver lining, like always a positive.
mm,
Like it sucks that you get injured, but at the same time, it's also potentially a small blessing because we can then focus on other aspects of whatever it is that you're doing. So, for example, you're in the gym. Like we have other things that we can focus on and put our attention into.
mhm.
Um, you know, obviously away from the injured body part or body parts, depending on how many things you've done. But
Mhm.
there's always something. There's always a benefit. There's always
Yeah,
a positive, and it's just I can imagine it'd be really hard to see that when you're in the moment. But if you can take a step back and be like, yeah, like okay, cool. Well, here's my next challenge. It's like cool.
yeah,
I can't do hack squats or whatever, but I can fucking blow up my boobs, so I'm gonna go do that.
yeah.
Or like something like that. You know what I mean?
And it like it'll force you to take a step back and slow down and look at things differently. Like, um, looking at stability is a whole different factor to how I used to train. Looking at things like back movements now. Well, yesterday on the pull movements that I did have, which was like some incline rows and some seated low rows, I was more emphasizing making sure that I had generated enough stability so that I was actually contracting properly and not trying to compensate for the pain. By doing that, the pain was taken out of the equation.
Yeah.
But if I had just fixated on the pain, I'd be more focused on that than the stability required to generate the load to progress.
Mm.
So in that instance where, and this has happened, 3 or 4 times over the last 4 or 5 years when I've had this pain and this training intensity, I'll get to a point where I have to reassess something, or it's like, take a step back and reassess a movement pattern or an execution from that has made me a better bodybuilder. So
Mm.
now I've learned to train that muscle group better or take that pain out of the equation or hinge in a different pattern. So I'm not recruiting from someone I'm supposed to. Because there's a period of time where I had my quad tendinopathy due to the fact that I was supplementing the pain by trying to shift load.
Yeah.
And though in my head it was a normal squat, if I didn't get into the squat pattern very often and then would go to squat, I would shift
Yeah.
load
Sure.
and try and
Yeah.
compensate, which
Yeah.
would lead to a tilted hip, which
Yeah.
would then load the fore knee and then obviously fucking
Give you
distress that.
Yeah, and give you
So,
grief.
being able to reflect on that and go, well, why is that pain occurring here? Is that the sign or the symptom? Well, that was
Yeah.
the sign. The
Mm.
symptom and the problem was higher up and around my
Yeah.
hips
Yeah.
because of my lower back. That was what my hips were doing. So all
Exactly.
these little things over the last few years that I've like, though each time it fucking sucks because it is an agonizing pain. You can just sort of take a step back and go, well, sweet, I'm choosing to do this. There's no point to bitch and moan because I chose
Well,
to go to
yeah,
the gym.
of
Well,
course. Of
now
course.
if I don't want to feel this pain again in the same place, what can I tweak or what do I have
Yeah,
improve? These
exactly.
things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
What can you learn from the experience?
Exactly. It's literally just taking ownership of like I chose to do it. I went under that load. I knew there was going to be a progression. With that progression comes the risk that there might be a slip in stability or like a new bearing on joints from the load they haven't experienced before. Okay, cool. Well, in future, can I I know now the strength is there for 250. To
Hmm.
be honest, the fucking strength is there for 260. Can
Yeah,
I handle that? Probably. But can I execute a little bit better? Probably also.
yeah. That's completely fair. Simples. There's
Yeah.
always a positive,
Yeah.
always. But
Basically, just stop bitching.
yeah, that too. Just harden up. Have some concrete.
It's really one of those times like I rarely go David Goggins on people where it's like I went through this motherfucker and I'm a hard man, but like there's points in time where little niggles and shit just don't bring them to me. Like bring me a solution to why you're in pain and how we can work through
Yeah,
it, and give me
yeah,
the way you can go forward, and I'll just add that into your program.
yeah.
But I don't want to hear you got like a fucking a little twinge, and that's going to put
Mm,
you out for 2 weeks. You don't need a
yeah,
full body deload because you've got a fucking slight knee pain.
yeah,
Well, let's just figure out
exactly.
the fucking knee pain.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But again, some people also need to realize that they can do more than what they think they can. And then also on
Mm-hmm.
the other side to that, there's a lot of therapists, whether it be physio, chiro, osteo, whoever, saying, or GP, because it's still apparently the first people that get injured in the gym do. Don't
Hey, Doc,
understand
can you fix my
why.
back?
Yeah, I don't get why, but they go to the GP first, and the GP straight away will stop doing this, and it's like, well, they're supposed to say that because it's their job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Limit
not,
pain or
yeah,
harm.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm never mad at a GP for saying like don't go to the gym if you hurt yourself in the gym, for example. It's like, well, that's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's so
Yeah.
blatantly obvious. Like, yeah, they say it. Like,
You burnt
and
yourself on the stove. Don't touch
yeah,
the hot
but
stove.
yeah, that's why you don't go to a GP for a sporting injury. You go to a physio, chiro, osteo, myo, whatever it may
Mhm.
be. Um, just don't go to a naturopath, obviously, because they're useless. Um, that's for another conversation. Um, you are shitty again as always. Someone or some people or some group of people have pissed you off again, which is always fun
time,
for me
time
because
for Ben's rants.
I get that. We may as well just call this like Ben's rant podcast. Like they don't even have to call it Bros with Brains. It's just Ben's rants.
and and Aaron chimes along to say, "Yeah,
And just and
you're
I'm
like
here
the
just
woo
to
girl, you're like the backup hype group.
no,
Like,
I'm just
yeah,
here
fucking feed him.
I'm just here with like the red hot poker, just being like, yeah,
Yeah,
and just keep going, stir you
you're
up,
the
just
fucking matador. Like,
yeah,
what else is going
100%.
on? What else is going
Yeah,
on?
that's it.
What else
Like
do they say?
what else? Yeah, what else? Oh yeah, what else? What about this? Literally what we do at the
I'm
moment.
not mad about it. It's pretty funny.
No, I just rant on Instagram. It's easier.
Yeah, but then we have nothing to talk about here.
I mean, I can talk about dumb powerlifting shit on here as well. It's not hard.
Well, yeah,
Powerlifters are
that's true.
mostly powerlifters are mostly stupid. Like,
I did see you finally put up a story for the
rant.
first time in a while. Actually,
Yeah, I
getting
hadn't done
called.
a talking one, but I had heard some things from a client of mine. I was like, oh, okay, that's still a thing. Sure, let's address that one. So I think I'm just going to go to war on powerlifting because it's fun.
That's fair.
Like powerlifting, old methodologies of powerlifting and powerlifting coaching when it comes to PEDs and nutrition. So apparently, still the thing going around in powerlifting. I didn't know this was still going around. That bloating is good, so you can get tighter in your belt. So you should be bloated at comp. And I don't know if people have ever actually lifted bloated, but it's kind of not very fucking comfortable.
What?
Like flirting with the line of shitting yourself is not one of those things that you want to do. But apparently that's still a thing. So
Deliberately
that's
forcing bloat so you have a wider girth to brace with your belt. Is that like
yeah. Never mind that you can pull the belt in slightly tighter, but we won't worry about that. This is what I'm
it doesn't
dealing
have to be the
with.
last notch, guys. You know that,
No,
right?
this is what I'm dealing with.
Fuck.
Like people still eating fucking I literally saw someone post, and I'm not going to name the person. Like, I'm sure he's a lovely dude, but fuck, man. This dude's like, I have a 300 kilo squat going on tonight or today. So it's a high calorie day. So we ate a large Big Mac meal and an ice cream from Macca's.
Oh,
Cockhead. No,
oh.
just because you have a 300 kilo squat doesn't mean you have a high calorie day. Believe it or not, it doesn't require that much energy to lift 300 kilos. Just saying, from a physiological standpoint, like from an energy standpoint, it doesn't require that much because you're doing it for one rep.
Yeah, you're doing it for one
Like
rep. If I was
like
to do 100
you're
kilos
doing
for
one
three
you're
reps,
doing one rep. Like
yeah,
you're not using much energy, buddy.
you're misunderstanding metabolism systems to think that that's necessary.
Yeah.
Like, but also that's just fucking uncomfortable.
And then people will be like, oh, but these powerlifters have like, 1,000 grams of carbs. And it's like, well, yeah, but have you seen them? They're like sub 15% body fat and they've got about 110 to 120 kilos of fucking tissue on them.
Yeah,
No shit, they're going to need a lot more food.
comparing your
Get to
calorie intake.
that size and that leanness with that health, then you can eat that much food.
Yeah, legit. Trying to compare yourself and say like a Will Crozier and being like, oh well, this guy has this many calories. I train as a bodybuilder and intend to grow mass for deliberate periods of time, and I don't even have the size of Will Crozier, let alone worry about the amount of weight that he moves or the muscle or the load that he lifts. But at the same time, like you can't just look at him as the outlier and go, well, he has 6 to 7 thousand calories a day in a prep. Why can't I? Like, well, because he's a fucking gorilla with
Yeah,
like
exactly
8%
right.
body fat year round.
Yeah, exactly right.
But hey, fat moves weight, right?
Apparently mass moves mass. So apparently being fat just makes you move more weight, according to some powerlifters still these days.
I mean, we can
And
just look at basic physics and say force times mass equals acceleration, and
yeah,
contractile force comes from tissue,
yeah.
muscle
Well,
tissue.
the other thing is that these people also haven't added any weight to their totals. They've just added weight to the scales. So it's like by definition, you've got heavier and
And
no
got weaker.
stronger. It means you're technically weaker.
Yeah. If we're
Like,
looking at power to weight
yeah,
ratios,
yeah, exactly. Because that's what powerlifting is, power to weight. So it's like I've got my all my guys that have come down in body weight, like and moving the same amount of weight on the bar. And it's like their actual total is bigger now. Like
yeah.
you don't understand, dickhead. Just like fuck, man, this is what I'm dealing with. Never mind. Apparently, someone was taking Deca for 8 months and started using K-bar because he was getting side effects. Spastic, stop taking Deca. like, like what? Just stop. Like, I like you. Just stop. Like, don't take more drugs to fix drug problems. Stop taking
Yeah,
said fucking drug, brother. It's not complex.
that one never makes sense to me. Even in my newest days of learning about stacking and designs, using a drug to mask another drug is like using a different part, like adding a different part to your car because one part of your car is broken. Well, just fix the part of your car that's broken,
Well,
and you'll have a better car.
you're just constantly putting a band-aid on a wound that's constantly bleeding.
Yeah,
Like there's the wound is not healing.
yeah.
Like it's just gushing blood and you're trying to put fucking gauze and band-aids on it. So it's like the dude's getting side effects from Deca. So okay, instead of thinking maybe I'll take less or just stop, I'll take something else so I can keep taking it and just not get the side effects. It's like dude, what's wrong with you? Like, do you know that what you're taking for the side effects also comes with its own side effects? Like, you've gone side effect squared.
Yeah.
Like, you fucked up. That's what I'm dealing with. So that's what I'm probably going to go to war on because, yeah,
I
it seems like a good time.
mean, at that point, you just have to look at people and assume they're not even considering stack design and just hearing about SUPs and being like, well, I better take this because this works or this will work and feel good.
Yeah, I don't know. People are dumb. It's just
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
can't, it's what it comes
pretty
down to.
much.
People are dumb. They just want, and don't understand. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the idea that like somehow you think you can make risk choices, but you can be risk adverse. No, you can be risk avoidant by plain ignorance. Like your body is going to react systematically, regardless of whether you believe it to or not, or whether you think that it's happening. You're putting in an exogenous compound that comes with the potential for consequences.
Yeah.
And you think by ignoring the decision and not actually weighing out the decision, you're going to get no response.
No,
That's not how it
and
works.
the thing is, a lot of these people will be doing it from either someone that they've heard or
Yeah, oh, for sure.
their own apparently self-learning. That's air quotes for those listening.
I did my own
Um,
research.
yeah, and it's like they read a T Nation article or
Bodybuilding.com.
bodybuilding.com fucking forum, and they've gone,
Bro, you got to run
do
fucking Anavar,
yeah.
Winstrol, you got to run Cleanse.
The original first cycle, what was it like 500 tests and 20 milligrams of D-bol for 6 weeks? Like, I mean, fucking sure if that's what you like. Anyway, I give up. I'm just gonna tell every powerlifter that I hear that you're a fucking moron. I'm gonna literally, I'm just gonna say it. If as soon as I hear something stupid from a
Bro, you
powerlifter,
dumb.
literally, I'm just gonna just to their face. I don't even care. You're fucking stupid. Like, what are you gonna say to me? Like, oh no, I'm not. No, you are. I do this for a living. Like, you're
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah. You're
What
pretty
you just
stupid.
said was maybe you're not dumb, but what you just said was dumb.
Was real stupid.
Yeah. So there's something going on here. Either what you've just said is really stupid, or you're stupid also, and that's why you said something stupid, and
Yeah,
therefore it's actually normal for you to say that.
yeah.
But in everyone else's eyes, you're just stupid.
And you lack the competence to think critically to go, hey, that actually probably is pretty stupid.
Yeah, and
If
you
this
and
compound reacts this way and I'm getting these side effects, I should probably back off that. No, I'm going to add a compound in to take off those side effects, which comes with its own adverse side effects. And I'm not going to mitigate those in any way so that I'll have stacked side effects. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, and it's just like you're too stupid to understand what you said is stupid, so that makes it normal. Yet you're stupid to the rest of us. Like, does that make you not stupid or more stupid? I'm like that's stupid squared. Like I got no idea. Anyway,
It's your subjective reality to about stupid is what's stupid.
yeah, like
I
you
don't
just hold.
think that I'm stupid and what I've said is right, then it must be right, and therefore I'm not stupid. But to everyone else around me, they still see me as stupid. But I don't
Yeah,
see it as stupid, so therefore I identify as someone who's not stupid.
but you are stupid, so it's okay.
Yeah,
Cancels each other out.
exactly. I love
Anyway,
I love
there's
stack design. I love
oh,
drugs.
there's my rant. Now, what's yours?
All right, tip tap. I love this. You love how you came on here like I got nothing. Also,
I mean, I've
powerlifters and
al
drugs.
I've always got something.
That's fair. We just need to fucking milk it out a bit more. Just yank the teats a little bit.
No, I mean, it was blatantly obvious when I did put it on Instagram, but let's be real.
Please watch the YouTube because I'm yanking teats and that is me milking scaff for rants.
Sure. You should just do it from like,
It's just this.
yeah, liar, liar. Well, everyone's been so nice to me. Well, that's because you got big boobs. I mean, I want to squeeze them. Mama.
Fuck, that's a good movie.
Like a live movie. Anything Jim Carrey, you
Oh,
can't go wrong.
oh, the premise of just not being able to lie for a day would be fucking hard. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be in so many fights. Without question, I'd be in so many fights.
I'd just turn everything off and watch TV all day.
Yeah, I couldn't actually interact with people. That'd be like that's the danger. I
Yeah.
just simply couldn't actually interact with people because I stay
Well,
too much
actually,
already.
it depends because it's like, would I? I feel I don't necessarily lie. I feel like it's more,
It's restrained honesty.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. If you look at it from that aspect, then yeah, I mean, I not so much lie. I do hold back, but it's like I imagine the way I would word things to like if clients ask me questions and all that sort of stuff. It's like I don't lie. I answer the question, but I answer them in I guess a more diplomatic way, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. So how did you
Versus
land on this conclusion?
yeah, versus like what the fuck, bro.
Shut the fuck up. You're not doing that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, depends. I guess it depends who's asking. When you ask me, I'm just like, what the fuck you on about? But
Yeah, that's
when
fair.
it's like, yeah, when it's like one of my other clients, it's like, I mean, sure, but it's just, yeah, that's just the way around it. So
Ben,
it's not,
how the
yeah,
fuck did you get to this answer? Everyone
yeah,
else, kind of, but not really. But also,
yeah.
potentially look at it this way.
Like there is an option for that. However, yeah, so it's like I'm not technically lying. I'm just not
Yeah.
being as
Look, I
down
prefer
the
your way with me because it means I have to dance around and waste time being told I'm not wrong.
oh yeah, that too.
Just
Anyway,
tell
what?
me I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, yeah. Anyway, what are we ranting about now?
What are we ranting about? Okay, so gather around, kids. Remember that episode of The Simpsons when they steal the lemon tree and they gather around and drink the turnip juice? Everyone gather around and pick up your glass of turnip juice. Okay, so one of the things that shitted the fuck out of me this week. So now one of the first, like one of the, we'll go with the client autonomy side first. Now, when it comes to client autonomy, when it comes to motivation and motivational science, we see in terms of self-determination theory, which is the prominent foremost theory in psychological motivation. It's what we understand, it's what we know about, it's what seems to be the common consensus across performance psychologists and sports psychologists and behavioral psychologists. We have three underlying pillars that combine to create self-determination, which is in line with intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. The more intrinsic something becomes, generally it contains all three pillars. So you're looking at autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Generally, someone displays they have the competence, they can do something, they've done the skill, they've done the act. So when we reflect on someone to develop confidence in themselves, we'll say, well, where have you done this in the past? Competence, I've done it before, I know I can do it. Autonomy, I have the freedom, the free will, I have the ability to make my own decisions, my own choices, and be competent in that decision being right, and then I'm going to execute it. Relatedness, I feel a sense of community and connection to the people that I'm around, that are in the things that I'm doing with, that I feel a sense of almost like purpose amongst the community. So generally, I'll feel more motivated because others around me doing the same thing. We're all succeeding. Cool. Now, client autonomy is a big driver of behavior change. So in the sense where we're not suggesting or we're not prescribing goals to clients, we're not telling them exactly how they're supposed to train, not telling them exactly how they're supposed to, or what their goal exactly should be. Like, I shouldn't come to you as the coach and say, all right, your goal is you'll be 5% body fat and this training program and this meal plan, yada, yada. Autonomy should suggest that we're including the client in most of the process, at least to say, hey, like, do you agree with this? This makes sense in my head. This is what I'm thinking. Do you have any objections, any issues with this? I'm looking at 3 to 4 to 6 months for a cut phase at this like sort of rate of loss, give or take some free weekends for you to do shit. Does there look like any problems in there? Oh yeah, I've got like a fucking uni degree at this point, so I might have exams, so maybe tweak it. Cool. You're including the client in the autonomous process.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough. So what we're then proceeding to say from these people that I've seen, especially on the everything bodybuilding is bad. Anyone who bodybuilds that isn't a bodybuilder, that isn't on stage, is a problem. Hypertrophy doesn't need to be the center of your training life. You don't need to track your training volume or your nutrition. You don't need to track your KPIs or your data. Yada, yada, yada. All the same fucking pedantic bullshit that actually comes across more neurotic than me than actually saying the bodybuilders are neurotic. In the same premise where these very people that said this, have pushed the premise that client autonomy is the subject of goal setting and that the clients themselves should be the one establishing what their goal is, and that they're the ones coming to us saying, hey, this is what I actually want. This is what I want to do in the program. This is what I want to do, what I think will work. What do you reckon? Blah, blah, blah. Client autonomy. Great. I'm all for it. Means you have more buy-in. They're then proceeding to say, and you can quite clear as day, like to the point that I'm basically just sipping Kermit the Frog in my fucking coffee. It's none of my business, but the irony is clear as day, that your clients aren't coming to you wanting to be 8 to 5% body fat or 8 to 10% body fat. Stop trying to make them shredded. They don't need a 5-day program. Stop telling them to be bodybuilders. They don't want to come to you and look a certain way. They don't want to come, like, they don't actually want that. You're making that or prescribing it to them. Yeah. So in the presence, and this is the same week, in the presence of saying client autonomy is important and that they should be setting the goal for themselves, let's say that, given my literal history and study of behavioral change, motivational interviewing, psychology, acceptance and commitment therapies, anxiety and depression therapies, I've managed to get a client and they're like, you know what? I fucking genuinely want to look like this. This is what I want to do. You're a hypertrophy coach. You're a prep coach. You're a performance coach.
This is what you do.
This is what you do. I've come to you for that. I am of the understanding this is what the outcome I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong. And it's likely my client doesn't want that. I've used all the laddering. I've used all the evoking language. I've used all the behavior change language. Make sure this is what they want to do. You're sure this is what you want? Yes. Every week. Are you feeling confident, happy, progressing? Yes. Great. So in the same time, we're saying, as these mindset coaches and these like lifestyle coaches and behavioral change coaches, regardless of whether this person wants to get on stage or not, I've got, I think, like 10 athletes for season B.
Yep.
I have like near 30 clients. I think maybe more. Like that's the number of clients that are still wanting physique changes or like performance changes or improvements or body composition results. Yeah,
performance being as well as body comp, because they're so
exactly right.
Hand in hand. Yeah.
The amount of them that still want that, regardless of being on stage, though I have evoked from them, are you sure you want this? This is what we're trying to achieve. Yes. Okay. If you're saying that autonomy is part of the client's buy-in and important for the client to feel accepted in fitness and feel like they're getting a result and they're happy with it, that they should have the autonomy to make their goals like known and present and be the ones to write and fill them out, you're then proceeding to say, sorry, your client doesn't actually want this. This is not what the goal is. Like, you're leading them down the wrong path. Not every client needs a hypertrophy program and a 5-day week training program or tracking their calories or tracking this. You're wrong and misleading them and creating these problems. If you can't see the irony in that, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, because that's some of the dumbest shit. If you claim to know what you know about, like, motivational interviewing and behavior change and lifestyle intervention strategies, if you're claiming these things and you can't see the irony between the two, I'm lost.
So are these people claiming, are they coaches?
Yes.
Okay, so they're like body comp coaches.
No.
Not necessarily. No. Okay. So what sort of coaching is this?
So you'll be seeing,
because again, this is something I don't see, obviously, because this is why I asked, right?
Yeah. So these are, again, from the same sort of crowds that will give me the shits, where they're not in our realm of coaching, but should someone obviously come to us seeking that realm of coaching, because they're not on stage, they don't fit that bill of coaching, and therefore it shouldn't be done. But also they've come to us of their own ovulation and fucking free will and autonomy to say, hey, this is my goal. I really want this. I want to be 10% for my wedding, look fucking hot naked and like bang my missus on wedding night. Great. But then if I enforce that goal and follow through with that by giving them the program and nutrition, food suggestions, we come together and say, hey, what habits are achievable? Can you do 10K steps? Can you get a serve of veg with every meal? Can you do X, Y, Z? Yes. Cool. You're a part of this buy-in. You've agreed at every level. This is what you want. That's apparently not what you want, though you've come to me autonomously to say that's what you want. That's the level of thinking that I'm picking up from these fucking statements.
Yeah. Okay. So the people that are saying these statements, are they coaches? Are they like mindset coaches? Are they behavioral change coaching? Whatever, if that's even a thing.
I would.
You know what I mean? Or are they just genuinely bodybuilding coaches just talking out of their ass?
No. They're not even that. They're not like they're of pretty much like the anti bodybuilding crowd, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But
okay.
Pretty much like speaking out their ass regardless.
Yeah.
That just because, like, and fair enough. Like, look, in the way they market, fantastic. The problem I always draw from it is in their marketing, they'll attack cross fields or cross industries, or cross the, I guess they cross the realms of coaching, because like we're under the same industry, but we're in different fields. Realistically, they'll attack cross field that, you know, your client A, who isn't a competitor, has come to you to get jacked or trained or excited. But that's not the goal. You shouldn't do that. They don't need a 5-day, 6-day training program to track their data and track the food bar. So like, this is the other part that we miss, right? So in understanding motivation, let's say someone doesn't know that they want to be a bodybuilder, or they don't know that they'll like it. In order to know that you'll like something, you have to try it. It goes interest, excitement, passion, purpose. So from that sort of like scaffolding, you can see, well, this client's come to me and, hey, I want to dabble in bodybuilding, see if I like it. I already live a pretty sort of consistent lifestyle. There's a few habits I want to change. I want to try and optimize my programming. You know, I really want to get to fucking 10% body fat, know that I can do it, get lean, whatever. Cool. In that instance, like the only way to find out if this client wants to be a bodybuilder is to let them live a lifestyle in which bodybuilding facilitated.
Yeah, exactly right. And how do you know if you like something if you never tried it?
Exactly right. I don't know if I all of a sudden want to be a powerlifter, but I enjoy lifting fucking strong. If I wasn't bodybuilding, maybe I'd powerlift. I go, hey, I really like lifting strong shit.
Yeah, it's like I like to feel strong and be strong, so I'm probably gonna like doing this shit. It's like, well, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I can understand that
Legit.
process and that logic. It makes complete and utter sense.
That it confuses me then when you see like this sort of content, because it really, when we talk about trying to reduce barriers, and so like one of the biggest issues we have with like behavior change or lifestyle interventions is we come up against what's called like friction points or barrier points to change, whether it be the language a client uses, whether it be the wording someone uses, whether it be the actions they make, if they actually sustain the behaviors they're talking about. If there's barriers, you know, my mom and sister and dad and dog and uncle, none of them like nutrition or training or being active, and so they're constantly against me, shit like that. Now, if you as the person putting out the content are creating a barrier in which you're telling a person if that's their goal, it's wrong, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're coming to you literally with of their own autonomous decision to come to say you or me, you know, Chrissy Black, something like that, with a physique-based goal like, hey, this is what I want. Even as a gen pop, I want to improve my waist to hip ratio. I want to be less fat. I want to be stronger.
Not asking what their goal is in your screening process, then what are you doing? That's just pretty straightforward. Like you say, hey, what's your goal, by the way? And if it's a goal that you don't want to help them accomplish, that's okay. Refer them on.
Legit. You don't have to talk them out of the goal, though.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Like, if they like, don't get me wrong, I have got several clients to the point where I'm like, okay, tell me why you think 5 kilos will make you feel sexy or more attractive or more desirable or more wanted. It's not the 5 kilos. It's the sense of self-confidence that comes with self-competence and actually doing these things to be healthier. So that's great. That's fine. Like that is more of a lifestyle intervention strategy. Exactly. Completely understandable. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. Give me 3 days a week. Give me 5 days of steps. Give me a bit of a few cardio sessions. Get outside, have some sex, do stuff that you enjoy. That's great. That's fine. Nothing against that. I completely agree. In that instance, giving them a fucking macro periodized fucking training program and nutrition probably isn't necessary. Giving them a training plan they enjoy and some activity they like, go nuts, go do it. Yeah. But in the same time, if you're telling me that is autonomy and that's also the client, like we're helping the client autonomously make that decision and guide them with our evoking language and motivational talk, then if I've done that and got to the same conclusion that someone genuinely wants to be jacked as fuck, strong and big and look good naked, you don't have the right to tell them it's wrong.
Yeah.
Whether they're a gen pop, whether they're not a competitive athlete, whether they're not a competitor, whether they're not a powerlifter, strongman.
Just trying to think, like, are we talking about the same group of dumb people that think that they know something about nutrition? Is that these people talking? Yeah, okay. I don't follow them anymore. That's why I don't see it.
Well, I don't even follow them. It came up in a sent to me. I think it was either sent to me or it came up in like
it's the same generic dumb shit saying you should. People that say that you shouldn't have diet soda don't know what they're talking about. Say you should have diet soda. Like fucking okay, fucking genius. Like we know this. Stop
mind blowing.
Or stop regurgitating the same shit.
Yeah,
it's like people that get rid of entire food groups like carbohydrates don't know how to help a client diet. Yeah, okay, bro. Like sure, like that's what you still think in this day and age. You're a moron, but that's fine. So it's that particular group of people that
pretty much of that same premise.
that
Yes.
have never coached a client.
Yes, legitimately that
Yeah,
don't
so
seem to have ever coached a client to get a
the people
result.
that have never had a result with anyone
Yeah.
and think that they're like educated. Yeah, okay, I know who you're
Yeah,
talking
don't
about.
get me wrong. You've improved some nutritional consumption, but if they still weigh and look the same as they did when they first started with you, and their goal was to improve how they look, then all the nutritional strategies in the world didn't work. You like all your little suggestions didn't take place. But then to proceed from that and say, well, that's because their goal wasn't actually body composition. They wanted to be happier in themselves. We know what made them fucking happier? Looking good naked and banging their husband or their
Well,
wife, or going out and feeling confident enough to talk to other women, or talking to
yeah,
some men and picking up at a bar, or knowing that they felt confident themselves to wear these types of clothes. You know what gets that result? Improving body composition. You know what improves
mm,
body composition? Adherence, tracking, and training.
yeah. It's a very cyclical effect.
It's strange how that works. And
Yeah,
every single time they have a sense of victory and they start to achieve wins, we call that the fucking uh, subconscious winning syndrome, involuntary winning syndrome. Essentially, it is a vertical spiraling behavior of winning and achievement that associates with serotonin, and you start to feel more confident, start to feel more competent, and you get more excited about it. So you start to feel better about yourself, you start to feel good. It spirals upwards. That is what comes from these little small wins and these things we do. So you're achieving PBs, you're improving nutrition, you're tracking your data, and you're seeing each week that you're improving, looking good. Even if you're tracking your waist measurements, or you're tracking your pant sizes, or your shirt sizes, or your check-in photos, something there is telling you that you look good. You know what comes from that? Just having generally happier, healthier body composition goals. It doesn't have to say, hey, I've got to be 3% body fat. But if you have the autonomy to come to me and say, you know what, I've done this sort of stuff where I've worked on my mindset and I've worked on my fucking feelings and my expressions, and I still feel shit. I want to be jacked. At some point in my life, I want to feel what a 100 kilo bar feels like. Okay, bro, let's do it. Sweet as. That's fine. What does that mean to you? It will mean the fucking world to me. Why is that? Because I'm sick of feeling weak. I felt weak, or maybe I was beat up as a kid and I didn't like feeling the weakness or that lack of control. Okay, this isn't a neurotic behavior, but it can facilitate a positive outcome. You want to feel strong and competent in yourself. Go nuts. Let's do it. That's a fine goal to have. Your entire value of life isn't based on it, but it's still positive enough that we can say you're pretty driven to achieve this.
yeah,
That's not a bad goal, nor is it make me a neurotic coach or them a neurotic person, or is it saying that, oh, that isn't actually their goal? No, that's their goal.
yeah. I just find when those group of people talk, I just don't listen because they're usually so far off the mark. It's a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be so claimed of evidence and research to also be completely away from it.
Yeah, and have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Legit, like like when I see it, like I rarely speak in authority of my field of study because it's so nuanced and specific at the same time. It's also in depth and complex and spectrum based, and it's like you can't be all of one thing. Like when people tell me that someone who's highly conscientious and type A personality is neurotic because they're doing all this data assessment, no, that is a conscientious personality, industrious and fucking task orientated. That's not them being neurotic. That's just who they are as a person. You can't disassociate that and go, oh no, they're neurotic because they want to know about the data. They probably do. But
Yeah,
like they'll talk about personalities or psychology or these traits or behavior change. And it's like, yeah, you kind of got it, but also you fucked it.
it's like you're there, but you're not.
Literally, I assume that your climaxes in bed would suck. You'd get right to the end, nearly do it, and you're like, well, what do I do now? What do I do with my hands? Finish the job. I don't know. Stop
Yeah,
here.
but
This
yeah,
close. This
that
close.
that does sound like something they would be very, very well known for.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's my rant for today. I was going to rant on something else about normality and people's projections of what normal is, but that's another
we,
time.
we can say that for next week.
That's next week. Right on the mirror.
Put it on the mirror with those penises. Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah. And there's penises to come back.
Well, should we get into some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
Let's go a funny one. I got some funny ones.
Go on then, because I haven't
All
got
right,
actually. I think I've got two funny ones, sort of.
all right. If she doesn't know what cheese TV is, she's too young for you, bro.
Which doesn't know what?
If she doesn't know what cheese TV is, she's too young for you,
Yeah,
bro.
hard.
That's fair. And it's got to be Jake and Ryan too, the initial two.
Yeah, the original
And
two.
that
Yeah,
toasted
100%.
TV bullshit.
Nah, I don't think that was really a thing when I started. Like, I think I'd already sort of finished watching TV in the
Yeah,
mornings when
so
that
did I.
happened because I think I went to high school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
didn't get a chance to watch it when I was at high
If you
school.
didn't know what it's like to experience getting all the way to the Freezer saga and then Dragon Ball Z starting over again, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't know the Dragon Ball Z Star was the last show on that, like the last show in that thing, and it
Yeah.
was on at like 8 a.m., then
Yep.
it's too young for
You
you,
have to
bro.
watch that, then run
Yeah,
it to school.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, legit.
You had to risk it.
Yep. Every time Ash got another badge and the season would start over and you have to watch
Yeah,
Poker Pikachu cry.
yeah, my grandmother, my nonna, would actually record them in the morning because I'd walk, myself and my sister would walk to her house after primary school because it was like 3 blocks away. So it's
Nice.
like, yeah, so she'd record it. Or my grandfather would record it. So that when we got there, like we'd get home at 4, finish at 3:30, go home at like 4 by the time, talk to your friends and dick around and whatever. And then sit down and have like a meal because apparently that's what wogs do. You eat at 4:30, and then you eat dinner again at 6:30, and you wonder
Makes
why
sense.
ethnic kids are fat. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Like, and watch the morning shows because we
Nice.
didn't get to watch them in the morning because my dad never used to let us watch TV in the morning.
It used
So
to
we'd
piss me
either
off.
get up really early and like
Oh,
before he
yeah.
got up and watch
Rich old
it
style.
and turn it down and like watch it,
Yeah.
or we'd be like, no, we'll record, we'll watch it when we're finished.
It used to shit me when I realized the day I realized that Dragon Ball Z episodes weren't actually half an hour long, they were 20 with fucking a lot of ads. And you're like, God damn
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You're like,
This
oh, I swear
this
this
took
didn't take
half
that
hour
long.
every time I wanted to watch like finally fight Freezer and beat him, and it would actually
It's
only be
like,
over in an hour.
yeah, or yeah, like the episodes are like 20 minutes, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
Um if a car never had manual windows, she's too young for you, bro.
Bad. Fucking, you get an arm pump from friggin' unwinding and winding up the
Aircon
windows.
half or full.
Yeah, and bad. And winding up the window was always harder than winding
Yeah,
down the
facts.
window. Hard.
Uh if Ben Affleck was her first Batman, she's too young for you, bro. That's facts. That is facts.
Yeah, but I think what year did the not George Clooney, what year did the Val Kilmer one come out? Because
Val
that
Kilmer,
may
wasn't it
even,
like
yeah, that may even
80?
be,
Oh,
no, that was 90s.
that was 90s, right?
That was
Yeah.
definitely 90. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'm pretty sure was that like 96 or
Yeah, I'm
95?
thinking 96 in my head is coming up.
Yeah, hold on, let's find out. Was it Batman, Val? Oh, 95. Okay, so 95, that'd put her at what? 25, 26, 27. Yeah, 28. That's fine. So Val Kilmer, George Clooney, that's okay. Anything after that, she's too young for you, bro.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, fair call.
Okay, cool. Um, Ewan just comes out and goes if she goes to school. So yes, Ewan, that's correct. I'm glad that your missus is not in school while you aren't.
Well, yeah, that'd just be weird. Socially unacceptable.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. She's never heard of Stereosonic. She's too young for you, bro. Your first festival wasn't a Stereosonic. You're definitely too young for a bro.
Hard. Those were the days.
I got some deeper ones, but you got some real questions. So what do you got?
I mean, I do have a couple of semi-real questions. Thoughts on blue light glasses regarding sleep?
Look, we're seeing some research that's supporting decreasing. Like we're going to think about what do you call them? Light particles are a stimulus, and the eye and your pathway is a neural system. So taking stimulus is going to activate stimulus in your brain. So there's a bit of evidence to decreasing the amount of light that comes through to decrease the stimulus. And they're saying the blue seems to be the most well, blue is rejecting a lot of the light stimulus coming in. So it's going to decrease neural activity in your brain, which should allow you to rest and relax faster. We're trying to de-escalate and de-stimulate the brain so that you can sleep and enter REM sleep properly. The issue is like that the type of lenses that are being used, just because they're tinted blue doesn't mean that's what's working. Like there needs there's an actual particular type of lens, I believe, that is associated with it that actually has some sort of benefit. And I mean, if you're taking fucking 400 milligrams of caffeine at 6 p.m. and then trying to take blue lights, it's probably not the biggest issue. You're looking at the
Yeah,
smaller details too much.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like I remember when they were all the rage, and it was like even I've still got some somewhere. And it's like they were, the absolute rage. You watch TV. The idea was we start wearing them when the sun goes down, and
Mm-hmm.
you're watching your TV that's emitting blue light, and what was it, white light, blue light, white light? I can't remember. And that does have like an excited effect on your nervous
Mm-hmm.
system, and potentially that's why you struggle to sleep and blah 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 blah. And then that's why they say get off your phones at night. And now that phones have the ability to turn on the blue light blocker, wait, blue light.
You can literally go to most of
um,
your phones or TVs now and put it into night
yeah,
mode.
yeah. Well, yeah, like it's got an automatic setting for it, and all that sort of stuff. It usually creates like an orange tinge over your
Yeah.
phone screen. You can actually download on your laptops. What's it called? Flux or
Hmm.
F.lux. It's the same thing. I've got it. That's the reason why I checked it. And that sort of stuff, and it can help start the process of melatonin in your body being
Hmm.
excreted, so that you can start the process of falling asleep and stuff like that. But the research into blue light blockers is so it's
Vague.
yeah, it's kind of almost like a 50-50.
Yeah.
There's nothing really showing that it works, and there's really nothing showing that it doesn't work per
Yeah.
se. It's like there's not enough on either way. And I don't, I mean, I haven't looked in a long time. I don't think there's any meta-analysis done on blue light blockers just yet, because I just don't think there's enough studies out on it yet. So, we'll probably find out in a couple more years' time about
Yeah.
them
I think it'd be one of
being
those
effective.
things where if you are finding it beneficial, if you're
Yeah,
reducing stimulant intake earlier in the day, if your sleep is optimized, if your environment set up, your bedroom is set up, like your sleep hygiene, if you've done the Matter sleep quiz and you found that everything's all sorted out, and you're like, you know what, that extra 2% that might help is the blue lights, sweet, try them out. But yeah, like with the current state of evidence, it's basically a anecdotal opinion as to whether you want to use them or not.
yeah, it's really like, hey, does this feel like it works for you? Keep doing it.
Yeah,
Kind of like deep tissue massage.
yeah,
Um,
fair.
yeah, I
Just
mean,
remember, like the thing to understand with sleep is our cells have what is called a circadian rhythm. So the body has its own internalized clock, and we're trying to work in conjunction with that as much as possible.
yeah,
You're trying to maximize your tiredness and sleepiness to match when your melatonin is highest. Be in bed for that. Be restful for that. Not be trying to overstimulate yourself. Then
you're in.
wake in the morning when you're supposed to with your cortisol,
It would appear your entire physiology is based on a circadian rhythm of sorts, and each system is also regulated by its own rhythm.
which is
So
fucking
that,
cool as shit.
yeah, that's becoming more and more prevalent. Someone that I know, a PhD researcher into circadian rhythm stuff, is obviously deep diving into it, and it's what's becoming more and more prevalent. It's like not just sleep, obviously being on a
Yeah.
cycle, but like your metabolism and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and effects of your metabolism. Things like eating at the same times each day seems to regulate a whole stack of processes better. So it's like again, everything just works on a clock,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like different clocks, obviously for different systems, but they all work in unison. So pretty cool shit.
There's been studies they did, I believe, on underground miners who would have to do like week because the mines would be so deep or where they would be working that it'd just be more efficient to have them down there for like 2 week intervals instead of coming up and back down all the time. I'm pretty sure they would get stuck down there for like I think it was like 2 to 3 week stints, and they still had even without the presence of light and day, they were still achieving almost identical rhythmic behaviors as their circadian rhythm should suggest because the body was so systemized and their cells were so responsive and the systems were so adapted to that cycle that they were acclimatized just to the fact that that's what time they're supposed to be in bed.
Yeah, exactly right. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward when it comes to circadian rhythms, because there's going to be a lot of research coming out on that, I think, in the next few years, which would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
What song are you choosing if you ever have a ring walkout?
If I ever have a what?
A ring walkout. So I'm assuming like if you're in
Wrestling?
wrestling, yeah, whatever. I guess boxing, whatever, like UFC. Anything that
Um,
has a song playing.
oh
Oh,
God.
probably gonna have Big Papa.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus. Um,
yeah.
I don't know.
It was my nickname in high school.
Hey,
My nickname in high school.
it's big
I went
fat
to
bearded Aaron at 17.
not even. I went to an all boys white school, and they had no white school, and they had no idea what like hip hop was. Like literally, I'm talking guys were listening to like George Michael. Like I get George Michael. I like George Michael. Don't get me wrong. However, they'd never heard of like Biggie, Tupac. I'm like, bro, you
Ugh.
guys are so privileged and white. This is beyond a joke. But
It's
anyway,
almost sad how white you are.
like literally.
I
Yeah. So anyway, that's
don't know. I've never really thought of what song would walk like. Oof.
bananas in pajamas.
I'd do something piss take for sure. Like,
Taylor Swift.
oh, shake it off, 100%.
Shit, there you
Shake it off, done.
go. Metformin for weight loss. Well, it's kind of like,
For fuck's sake, Ewan.
yeah, it's not really a question. Metformin doesn't necessarily assist in weight loss. It assists in glucose management or blood glucose management. Hence, it's a glucose disposal agent. That's what it does.
Hmm.
It's also got some really nice antioxidant or oxidative stress effects,
Hmm.
which are always nice because
Hmm.
you can never not kill off oxidative stress. Um, yeah, doesn't really do anything for weight loss though. Specifically, there's no mechanism of action of metformin that helps you lose weight or body fat. So yeah,
Correct.
what's the other one? Semaglutide does and all that sort of stuff, but they're very different.
Hmm.
Which, if you listen to last week's episode or week before, we went balls deep on it.
What have I got? All right. One area that improved when you started training outside of physical progression.
Ooh, start again.
One area that improved when you
Hmm.
started training outside of physical progression.
Um, One area. Oh, I mean, just confidence, right?
Hmm.
Being confident to, like you said, wear clothing and even like go to the beach and have my top off
Hmm.
and shit like that. Because I think most of us that got into this field were all sort of the same as kids, whether we were actually like, I guess chubby or fat, whatever. Like, a lot of us weren't. We just thought we were.
Yeah.
Um, like yeah, for the longest time, I didn't go to the beach and take my top off. It was just like really only the last probably 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 years, 4 years. Um, One because I thought that I was always fat, but two also because I'm a hairy wog, and it's just like as a kid, like always being the one hairy kid where nobody was hairy, like especially when you're playing. Imagine when you're playing at a grammar school fucking football side and you got 17 other dudes or whatever, like kids 16, 17 years old, and it's like just getting changed in the change room or whatever, and there's like not one fucking chest hair on anyone, like
They're getting
at
just first
all.
hair first pube on ball, and you're like
Literally,
getting
and I,
first fucking beard.
I'm shaving like every second day, so I'm kind of like this is fucking shit. And then, but yeah, it's just like I never forget, and I tell a lot of people this story. I remember being about, I think I was 17. I think it was one of the high school footy games, and one of the guys that I was friends with who finished in the year above me
Mhm.
he came down and watched one of the games because I'd played with him in the team the year before, and he had his missus, and his missus like was like stunning in my head. She was like yeah up here, and like he was punching well above his weight. Just saying. And I remember I'd come out like we'd actually won the game. I actually had a really good game. I remember. We were in the change rooms getting changed or whatever, and a couple of guys were just sort of making jokes, not obviously intending to be insulting, but about like my chest hair and stuff. It's like I think everyone was walking around like topless or some shit, and I've still got my t-shirt on, or because I've got changed out of my jersey, put my t-shirt on, and people were like, oh, like why do you always get changed so quick? Giving me shit. And then I remember I came out and I was in like this really sort of shit headspace, obviously 17 and being teased is not fun. And my mate's just like, "Oh, you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "No, what's up?" And like I'd met her a few times, and she's like, I just said, "Oh, I keep getting teased for being hairy." And I sort of pulled down my t-shirt, and she goes, "Look, I'm going to tell you now." She goes, "Girls might hate hair." She goes, "Women fucking love it." And then from then on, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like,
I want to
she
marry
said
you.
it.
I
I'm
love
like,
you.
she
Sign
she
up.
said it. I'm like, she said it. Like, do you have a sister? Like, come on, hook me up,
Can
cousin,
I just put
someone.
this? Can I record this for a minute? Just like when I feel shit. Can I just record
Yeah,
this?
like literally, and it's like from then on, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. It was great, good times.
Um, Something I noticed that improved outside of physical. I think my ability to foresee the future and delay gratification. That has always been something that like it's always been something I've been able to work towards, especially from coming from playing footy. Um, like even at the start of the season, obviously you're envisioning playing the grand final and training towards that and making that your game, and you're going to win and get to the end. So I had some pretty good runs across my competitive career playing footy. There were several grand finals. I got to play at Suncorp in a grand final winning schoolboy team. That was pretty sweet. But actual training towards like, especially when bodybuilding is such a minute point of time for such a
Hmm.
long endeavor of behavior,
Yeah.
to be able to delay the sense of gratification to the point that that piece of pizza, though it's 3, 6, 9 months away, if my calories are already hit or this is already hit, I've already done this, like having some extra pizza because everyone else is, or doing this because everyone else is, it's something that I've really learned to cherish and appreciate, which has also probably sustained my business and got me that excitement out of that and got me like the drive to where I am with studying university, because everything becomes a means to an ends. But at the same time, I enjoy each part of it. And that was something that I failed to do as a kid in high school. And I just kind of wanted school to be over. I wanted the grades to just get done. I wanted the class to be over or finished or whatever if I didn't like the subject. But now, even if there's a period of time, like especially in stuff that I've elected to do, like so I've chose to go to uni. I have chosen to compete. I've chosen to diet. I've chosen to train and eat. Like even with this back injury, like all these things I have elected to do. And so that chosen degree of suffering is something I get to appreciate for what it is, and that it serves a purpose and has a specific outcome that I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
And more excited than that is that less than 1% of the world is trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So even when you put yourself, like people talk about like, oh, the privileged 1% or what have you, in the realm of what we're doing, it literally is potentially like 1% of the world at best. If you look at 7.6 billion people, 7.6 million people probably aren't trying to be competitive bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly
Like
right.
it's probably not happening. So you've got one, like that sort of ability to recognize delayed gratification and what comes from that is just something I didn't have quite grasped by the end of before competitively training.
That's fair.
And last one I got, stack suspicions. Who would you pick and what do you think they're using? Oh God, it'll be for fucking 4 days.
Wait, stack suspicion. Like, what's it mean? Like, am I
As in,
picking
like,
someone?
what do we like? Someone we think using a stack and who would and what their stack would be.
Oh,
Like
fuck. I couldn't care less. Um,
Charles Soon is
oh,
using all of it.
yeah, just growth hormone in abundance. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't look at people and wonder what they're on because I really don't care.
I feel the people like if anything, the people who have most to lie about, most to say that, the most who have to say that they're natty generally run the dumbest stacks or the stupidest shit because they're trying to hide the fact that they're natty, that they end up looking worse or are just very clearly not natty. And you can quite easily see it, but like they'll defend it. But it's just like, if you just told everyone you're doing tests, no one would care. Like you just do some tests and train stack properly or just train properly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. But at the same time, it's kind of like I don't
Yeah,
care. It's like, yeah, it's one of those. I have zero thought because I have
100%.
zero care for what anybody else is doing. All I care about is myself and my clients. Very
Yeah.
straightforward. Um, so I wrote on my thing, and any dumb shit you've heard. And I've had someone write some dumb shit, but it's not anything that they've heard, which is strange. Like when people take away dumbbells mid set or mid superset.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I get it. I mean, I don't because I don't superset, but like I get it. It'd be annoying.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, say, if something like that, there's a problem in your program setup, like unless you only have access to dumbbells, for example.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have access to like a machine and you're supersetting with a machine and you have to walk over to the machine, just bring your dumbbells with you and just do the exercise near the machine.
Yeah.
That way, no one can take your dumbbells and people know that
Mm-hmm.
you're doing two exercises. But anyway, I feel like that's just common sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Oh, give me one sec. I don't think we got any other ones. No, that's all we have for today.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
What do we need to tell people? Anything interesting?
What do we need to tell people? Anything interesting? We have a really cool episode on the Matter Mentality podcast coming out with the Tin Man. So anyone that is familiar with me prior to coaching knows I have a very strong affiliation with men's mental health and men's physical health. And that is one side of psychology that I also endeavor to study and look out for. So it's not a performance-based episode. It is a lot more about the health and issues and problems faced by the male clients that I will have and that I do have, regardless of, how successful they are. Like there's this weird assumption that because someone's an elite athlete, they can't have problems, or because they're X person that they're looking successful, they can't have these issues. So really did some deep diving into some data and some points. So I'm looking forward to the challenges that will come from the episode because it's going to question some beliefs that are held. But That was a really cool episode to have. We went for like 2 hours.
Yeah, nice.
Um, but yeah, what do we got? The workshop is being confirmed. Waiting to hear back from a few places to lock it in. Um, that's about it for the moment. Just get this course finished off and work on that.
Yeah, nice. Not much going on for me. Going, I guess, come up end of the month, end of Feb. Should probably book those flights. Um,
Mm-hmm.
seminar, talk shit, eat
Mm-hmm.
sushi,
Mm-hmm.
usual.
I'm keen for some sushi.
Yeah, bad. Sushi train. See if Brooklyn actually eats food this time, or is she in a diet? She'll be dieting.
Oh yeah,
She'll
my
be dieting.
girls have like they're
No,
chasing the 30-week mark.
no sushi for Brooklyn. Zapa.
Yeah,
Yeah, ridiculous.
unlucky.
She gonna kill us. Anyway, yeah, that'd be it really. I'm just taking on a couple of clients. I've actually had a bit of an influx of clients the last week, which is nice. Probably just gonna wage war on powerlifters again.
I like it.
See what pisses me off this week coming and go from there.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks for
As
tuning in, guys.
as
Another
always,
rant
guys.
successfully completed.
Have questions, concerns? Always throw them in the question box or just DM one of us and we can sort you out. Goodbye.
See you guys.